What's up, idobi Radio? It is Fish, and I'm very stoked for a very special right now. We are calling it Rewind and Pause with Taking Back Sunday because I am sitting here with Adam and Shaun from Taking Back Sunday. What's up?
That's us. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, California.
That's right. Happy to be here.
Nice. And obviously you guys are here because you guys are celebrating the 20 years of Taking Back Sunday.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
It's awesome.
It's crazy to think that we were just 7 and 8 years old when we started the band, and now here we are. It's nuts, man.
So crazy. And the cool thing about this tour, you guys are playing Tell All Your Friends in its entirety every night, then flipping a coin to see if you guys are going to play Where You Want to Be or Louder Now.
Yes, yes. It's been the first night in every city has been very exciting because nobody knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah. That should be like, or could be nerve-wracking.
It is 100%.
A lot of songs that keep straight up here, but we're doing pretty good. I think we're hitting our stride.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for the shows. I'll be here tomorrow night for the show.
Cool.
Tonight, I won't look at Twitter, so I'm just as surprised as everyone else. So let's get this started because you guys started back in '99 on Long Island. And
yes.
If memories and what I researched serves me correct, neither of you guys were in the band at the time.
No, well, I moved and I was the bass player.
Okay.
And then that was, and not too long after that, I started singing and Shaun joined and started playing bass.
Yeah, in '99, I would actually go to the shows and see Adam play bass. I'm like, man, this guy is crazy. He's all over the place.
Not so good at bass, though.
He's very good. He's much better than he lets on, for sure. But yeah, it was really fun to go see that early iteration and know, like, hey, I was there from the beginning too, but in the audience.
Definitely. So where were some of the places you guys were playing? Probably like Broadway Bar?
I don't know about...
I don't think any place that cool.
No. No, the first show I ever played with the band was at a place called Funky Fish. Funky PH Fish.
Oh.
And on Long Island. And after that, we played a lot at a place called Ground Zero. And just VFW halls and things.
Garden City Ethical Humanist Center, they would have shows there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did we play there with Alkaline Trio?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We didn't know it was such a big show. We got there and like everything was packed, and Mark and I were really, really late. And I'm still embarrassed that we blew it like that in front of such a big crowd, but we had no idea.
That's incredible. That's legitimately down the block from where I grew up.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Small world.
Yeah, I would have to take that road to get to Roosevelt Field all the time.
Yeah.
Pass by it. Got to see some good shows back in the day. So now in '99, I don't think you guys had any music released yet. It was 2000 you guys released your first EP, which was a self-titled EP. It had songs like One Way Conversation, 11, songs like that on there.
Oh, yeah.
Summer Stars.
Yeah. Yeah, we recorded that with Mike Sapone, and that was the first time I was ever in a studio, and I played bass on that, and then did my best Ari Katz impersonation on the songs I sang backup on. He was a singer for a band called Lifetime.
Okay.
And and then not too long after that was when I started singing, and then we recorded what we called at the time the Tell All Your Friends demo. And it was like 5 songs, and so another EP, I guess.
Nice. Now, when you guys are recording that first EP going into it, obviously you don't really know your sound at that point, and around that time, bands like Lifetime, Saves the Day are pretty poppin'.
Yeah.
I hate that word. I redact that statement.
Yeah. But, there's a little millennial in all of us, man.
Yeah, it's true. So you have that going on, and then obviously there was a different lead singer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you guys continue using those songs after you parted ways with Antonio?
We did for the first few shows. The first time we played with the lineup we have now was at our friend Mary Ann's house on New Year's Eve.
Right in her living room.
Yeah, with the reunion show. And I remember it snowed that night, which was cool because I'm from the South. You don't see that too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then we played. We had written maybe 2 songs, Great Romances, and one other one.
Probably Bike Scene. I think Bike Scene was the second one to come together.
Yeah. So we still played those other songs just until we had enough of our own in that iteration of the band to not play them anymore.
For sure. And if it's cool with you guys, I would love to play one of those songs for everyone out there right now. Just a little taste, maybe a 30-second clip.
Sure, man.
Sweet. Which one would you guys choose?
Go On is pretty cool music.
Yeah, Go On. That was one of the ones that I learned when I joined the band, because they had another EP prior to that, but Go On.
Awesome. Here's Go On by Taking Back Sunday off their debut EP. It's self-titled, and we'll be right back.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, we'll cut it at 35 seconds. You just heard a very old song, which definitely is not on streaming services.
Yeah. Thankfully. No, I don't have anything against it. That's just not us. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was a different band.
But there was a little shithead kid on Long Island who had access to a leak website who might have been able to grab it when he was in his teens. I don't know who that was.
That's awesome. Yeah. Not naming any names. Yeah.
Tell that kid, hey, it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys have, you guys mentioned the Tell All Your Friends demo.
Yeah.
Now, I believe there was an EP right before that too, Lullaby, in like 2001-ish, or maybe that was a single? I could be completely wrong.
That was around the EP that you're talking about that we just heard from. That was just like an extension of that, not too long after I joined the band.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I think whatever that was might have been a LimeWire Kazaa something or other that got mixed in with some other weird stuff. I don't know, but I'd heard rumblings about that.
Okay, cool. So it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or for sure, it's all good. So now, I remember hearing a story. I think you might have been telling it live one time. How you worked at a deli on Long Island when you first joined the band.
Yeah, well, I had a couple different jobs. Like, I worked at a record store called
Nothing you'd call a career.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like Empire Discs, which was in Garden City.
Oh, sick.
And then I worked. Eddie worked at the deli for years, and I was the delivery boy there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I worked at a breakfast restaurant for some time as well. So because they would let us come and go.
Yeah, for sure. And now, at some point or another, you guys were obviously in talks with labels. You guys signed your first record deal with Victory Records.
Yep.
And that was presumably right before Tell All Your Friends came out.
Yes, it was.
So talk about that a little bit, like going into a meeting with the demo and then getting a record deal out of it and then coming out with your first full length.
Well, it actually didn't work like that at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's official.
Yeah. Like, we were trying real hard to just get the demo to anybody we could, and no one was interested. And then our friend Michelle, who actually took the photos that are in the liner notes of Tell All Your Friends, but our friend Michelle was driving back from a show from Philadelphia, and Angel Huarbe, who became a great friend of ours, we lived together for years, him and I, and but just happened to have the demo on in her car. And Angel was like, man, I really like this. Who is this? And she's like, oh, it's my friends from Long Island. And then Angel got in touch with me. And then we got in touch with the powers that be at Victory. And then everything just started rolling from there. We didn't actually meet anyone because they were based in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So we didn't actually meet them face to face for some time.
Yeah, we had one dinner with Angel, and we're like, man, I think we're all in. I remember, I'll never forget the day, like, Adam called me, he's like, yo, Tony from Victory just called me. I think, like, they're really interested. And I was so shocked. I was like, it's really happening. All these years of, like, thinking no one would ever really care, because there was, like, limited interest from different labels around, but they seemed to really care, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys end up quitting your day jobs or temporary jobs?
After, once we started touring, like, full time. So, like, because then it just didn't make sense to be gone, because we'd be gone for 2 weeks and then home for a week and then gone for a month and then home for 2 weeks, so, like, we weren't making enough money to, like, afford our own apartments, but because, like, I moved in with a friend's family and for a bit there, so but we were gone enough to where it just didn't make sense to go right back into work.
Now, you guys have Tell All Your Friends come out, and it sells a few thousand copies the first week.
Yeah.
And that was before you guys really started touring, too, right?
Well...
We just begun the process,
okay.
Kind of. Yeah, like, we'd been on the road for about a month when the record came out, and we had done a tour in January that was, like, 2 weeks with rival schools, which was awesome. But, yeah, we hadn't really hit the road hard yet. Like, yeah, then once it did, we were gone for, like, 2 years straight.
Yeah, we were at Club Laga in Pittsburgh when the day it came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
never forget.
Yeah, and now playing that show must have been like a huge victory for you guys. Like, your album comes out, you've been working hard for a few years at this time, and I can imagine kids were probably singing back a lot of words already by that point.
Some. I mean, like, we were still fairly new. Like, we were on the Victory Tour, right?
We were first of 5, opening for Student Rick and Reach the Sky and Catch 22 and Grade. Yeah. So it didn't feel very cool. It was just like, okay, the record came out, great. Let's see what happens. It wasn't until like the next summer, the following summer, like 2 months later, where things really started to go off.
Now, during the Tell All Your Friends touring cycle, obviously Shaun and John parted ways for a little bit.
Yeah.
What, about 10 years?
A mere 7.
A mere 7 years. So at that point, what was the conversations like? Because I can imagine it was probably pretty brutal, especially like coming off the success of your debut record like that.
Well, yeah, that was a strange time. Like, I remember, because Mark was playing, because we decided we wanted to keep Taking Back Sunday going, so Mark was playing with us and with the first incarnation of Stray Light Run, and then at a certain point he just had to kind of make a decision, so he stuck with us. And yeah, that was a crazy time, because we didn't want to let too much time pass, or just on the Taking Back Sunday end. So, I mean, that's when Fred actually reached out to us first, and then we had a couple different people audition for bass, and we just immediately started writing to get ready to release Where You Want to Be.
Definitely. And at some point or another, obviously, like with the internet, there's videos that pop up online, and I saw old videos of You Should Have Waited, you guys playing it way back in the day during the Tell All Your Friends era, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But the lyrics are a little bit different.
They're 100% different.
Yeah. Musically still the same for the most part.
Yeah,
but,
certain parts, yeah.
Yeah. So then also, you guys had You Can't Slow Dance on the Inside, I believe, while Shaun was still in the band, and John.
Yeah, and then how did that get settled?
I think there was a trade-off because Mark helped write the Stray Light Run song, Existentialism on Prom Night, so like there were parts changed to this and parts changed to that. I forget. It was like, that's going back like 2003, 2004.
Yeah, so we ended up with that song because we had demos written when John and Shaun were still in the band. So that was one that was kind of left over from there, but obviously it was different than what ended up on Where You Want to Be, but yeah.
And now, was that the only song that Shaun and John were kind of a part of? Or I'm saying Shaun and John like Shaun's not sitting here. That you were a part of that ended up on Where You Want to Be.
Yes.
Nice. So if it's cool with you guys, I want to play a song off Tell All Your Friends. What song would you want me to play?
You want to do Great Romances? Because that was like the first one we kind of wrote as the real lineup.
Great Romances of the 20th Century.
We've made it through the Tell All Your Friends era. We are now on to the Where You Want to Be era.
Yeah.
So now Shaun and John are not in the band at this point.
Yes.
And what came out first, Stray Light Run stuff or Where You Want to Be?
I don't know.
We put some demos on a website just to get stuff out as quick as we could, and I don't know how that timeline lined up, because we were just like, you know what, we're going to give stuff away because we want to get out and play shows, and no one knows what this band sounds like. So I don't remember how it lined up with when Where You Want to Be came out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And now it was a little bit of a super group in my opinion, because it was you, John, and Will Noon, and then Michelle was in the band too.
That's right. Yeah. The incomparable Will Noon. He's unfortunately, he lives in LA, but he's in Philly playing Breaking Pangea shows right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're not going to see him. I was texting with him earlier today. Yeah.
That's so funny. So now Where You Want to Be comes out, and at this point, in my opinion, just like looking through everything with Taking Back Sunday and getting to like be there, hearing everything, this is where it became a whirlwind, I feel like.
Yes, it did. We were on Warped Tour when that record came out, and it was, it charted, which we couldn't believe. And so
it didn't just chart.
Well, like number 2, which was crazy. So we we didn't know what to do. We didn't think that was possible for a band like ours, and then things started to really pick up after that.
Now, if I remember correctly, it was 150,000 the first week, or over 150,000.
Jillian?
We're phoning in Jillian.
Where you want to be, 163.
Wow.
Wow.
No big deal.
Yeah, now the number one record, because of streaming and all that, is like 7,000, 7 to 15,000. It's crazy.
But everyone's still streaming Where You Want to Be, Tell All Your Friends, Louder Now. And even the new stuff is awesome. We're going to get to that obviously later because it's kind of in a chronological order right now.
Yeah.
But when Where You Want to Be comes out, now, did you guys play Jimmy Kimmel before or after this came out, where you guys did Cute Without the E? Was it before or after the Where You Want to Be? I'm not 100%.
I think it was on... I'm trying to remember what tour it was on.
I think Blink 182.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, because we would have done Decade had it been after Where You Want to Be.
Gotcha. And now, like, something like that, just to go back in the past a little bit, you're a band from Long Island. You guys aren't exactly the mainstream sound. And you have all those kids freaking out over you on national TV at the time. That's wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, just to be on television, you know,
yeah.
like I remember, like my whole family watched. You know, it was crazy. I mean, like I said, it's something we didn't think would be possible.
Yeah, and then Where You Want to Be comes out, obviously, we just mentioned 163,000 the first week.
Yeah, that's
now,
nuts.
A Decade Under the Influence is getting some pretty good radio play, if I remember, too.
Yes, it was.
So that comes out, and it kind of makes you guys a little more mainstream in a way.
Well, like, yeah, I guess. I mean, anything that's on the radio is mainstream. but yeah, I mean, at that time, it was bringing like a lot of the. Yeah, we got to enter in this world, you know, like to where we're getting the tour with Blink 182 and things like that.
And then Tom DeLonge went on and directed a music video for you guys.
Yeah, for This Photograph is Proof.
I remember seeing the behind the scenes video. I think it was on Fuse.
Yes, it was.
Special on it, and it was one of the coolest things seeing someone like Tom DeLonge helping out a up and coming band like that. So
yeah, man, they did so much to help us out, like, because they put us on a bunch of tours, and it was very surreal playing, because we're. I mean, at the time we're playing like small clubs, so, and now you go from that to like opening a show at an amphitheater, and it's we learned how to act on that tour. So
I could only imagine.
Yeah, a lot of fun mistakes were made.
Hey, I mean, if they didn't happen, it wouldn't have been fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, with Where You Want to Be and all that going on, you're getting radio play, music videos are getting played on Fuse, MTV.
Yeah.
Your fan base is growing immensely, and you guys become kind of like the icons of Long Island.
I don't know about that.
I think so. It's like
I don't know.
Glassjaw, Billy Joel, you guys, Bayside.
Yeah. That's all good company to be in.
All buddies.
Yeah.
Met Billy Joel a couple months ago. It was pretty rad.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And now some of those songs on the record, I don't know the specifics of the lyrics and don't really want to dive too much into the meanings behind a lot of things because I know it's pretty personal and interpret it how it is. Mm-hmm. Now, were there any songs where it's like kind of weird for you, Shaun, to kind of play live now? And since you weren't there for the recording of it?
No, not at all, because I think since being a part of this band since the start of it, or like what was the real catalyst, which was the five of us in a room writing those songs. I know where the songs from Where You Want to Be and Louder Now came from. Like I know Adam, I know the way he writes words, and same with John. And you know, like I know how this band started, I know how it formed. So like I might not have been there, but like I know the basis for it, and I feel like I could connect with it and identify with it because like, you know, this is my band too, even though I might not have been there for it. It's still, we kind of gave life to this thing together.
Definitely. And then also, it's just cool that you guys get to play these songs because I know, like, hearing it throughout the years, I never thought I'd see Shaun and John playing some of these songs.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, what songs were on this tour are you guys most excited to play for probably the first time in years?
Mainly all the ones we haven't played over the years. I mean, because it's like this whole new, it's like this whole new life. You know, we're getting to put this whole new. We're getting to present them in a new way, and that's nice.
And I was with Frank Iero right before this interview.
Oh no, did he bother you the whole time?
Oh, he was great.
He should be great to us.
Yeah.
No, he's the best.
He's always bothering Shaun.
Yeah. So he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in music, bar none.
Yeah.
So he brought this up during the interview with him, so I guess I have to bring this up during this with you guys. Adam, where do you practice the mic swings? Because I feel like this is where it really started getting intense. Like, once the stages got bigger, I feel like the swinging also got...
Well, yeah, there's more
more room.
More room for activities. I don't. Like, you just go out there and hope you don't knock your teeth out.
Have you lost any teeth to it?
Yes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
You got to get this little padding. It's great.
Yeah, well, no, because then it won't fly the same.
You know.
Very true.
Yeah.
Trial and tribulations here.
Yeah.
So, also something really cool during this era that I remember seeing, I think it was on CNN you got interviewed talking about emo music and how it helps people, or it was like one of those really big news networks.
Yeah, I went, in hindsight, I wish someone would have briefed me on what we were talking about, because it's basically like you go on camera and they start asking you questions. So I'm like, I've never thought of that before. So but yeah, that was very, very surreal.
I think it was the term they used was polite punk.
Ha!
I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that was, and it just stuck with me all this.
Yeah,
these
sure,
years.
man, sure. I'm from the South, sure.
Yes. So, Shaun, at any point during this record cycle were you like, shit, I kind of made the wrong decision?
No. I definitely understand why a lot of people would think that and feel that way. But everything I did with Taking Back Sunday with Straight Outta Run, it was with a total gut instinct for what I had to do at the time. So I was sure that Taking Back Sunday would have success without John and I. That wasn't the issue. It was I needed to get out and do something else. Like I was saying earlier, we were on tour for 2 years, and I was a kid that was in my bedroom toiling away with my weird thoughts and whatever was going on in my head for like 2 years before I joined the band. So next thing I know, I'm shot out of a cannon on this rocket ride to outer space with this band, and everything is blowing up so fast and people are changing and my life is so drastically different. I needed to pull back, and I knew for my own well-being I needed to take a break and step away. So I had no issue, and I was and it definitely came a little bit later on with like Make Damn Sure, seeing like, oh, I'm so glad these guys are having the success that they deserve because they've worked so hard for it. And so yeah, at no point did I ever regret doing it. And when Straight Outta Run later came to an end, I was very matter of fact, okay, hey, I had my time doing my dream. Not a lot of people get to do that. On to the next thing, on to the next phase of my life. Fortunately and amazingly, it led me back here, which I couldn't be happier about. And I think that's a testament to knowing, like, trusting my gut all along the way got me back to where I needed to be.
I love that answer.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. So I think that kind of concludes the Where You Want to Be era of the band. What song do you want me to play for everyone out there off the album?
Why don't you play Slow Dance on the Inside, since we were talking about that one?
We've entered the Louder Now era.
Yes.
And one of my favorite records still to this day.
Thank you for saying that.
No problem. And something you guys did on this record, you just blew everyone away with some of the instrumentals and lyrical concepts right off the bat.
Well, we figured we're getting to work with Eric Valentine, who's one of our favorite producers, and so we're going to go big or we're going to go home, and that's what we did.
Definitely. And you guys landed a soundtrack with Error Operator, the Fantastic Four soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because that song was originally written and put into before Louder Now, and it was put into the Fantastic Four video game. And then when they made the movie, they put it in the movie. So we all go to the premiere because we're like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. Our song's gonna be in a movie, and it's the scene where Thing is walking into a bar, but every step he takes makes the jukebox skip. So you would hear like little 2-second clips of our song, and which was still really cool to us.
That's awesome. And Make Damn Sure just blows up. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I'm driving to high school, or my dad's driving me to school, and you guys are on the billboard or the marquee at Nassau Coliseum. You
Yeah,
have
that was
Angels
insane.
and Airwaves and Head Automatica opening for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild time, man. Like, I remember we were out in LA for something after that, and I walked by the Apple store, and I'm like, oh, there I am. like just the craziest thing. But yeah, the Nassau Coliseum show was huge for all of us, just because, yeah, I mean, I used to deliver food right around there.
So talk about that a little bit, like going on tour with Blink-182 for your previous 2 record cycles and throughout the years, and then having Tom DeLonge and Angels and Airwaves come out and open for you guys.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like, he was trying to get Angels and Airways off the ground, so it actually worked really well, I think, for both of us.
That's so cool. And then out came a DVD and I think 2 live albums from Louder Now, or
Yep.
part 1 and 2.
Yep.
So talk about when you the first time, like, kind of doing something like that, because I think that was the first time in your career you guys put out a live album or DVD.
Yeah, there was what we knew we wanted to capture that time on film, and also Angel, ironically enough, who signed us to Victory Records, he had stopped working for Victory and then started touring with us, and he's who filmed a whole lot of that behind the scenes footage that you see.
Awesome. And also it was your major label debut.
Yep.
So what's the difference between being a band like you guys on an indie label and then going to a major label? And
You could afford to work with Eric Valentine.
and really not skipping a beat with the music.
Yeah, we've always tried to stay really true to the people that we are at that time, and I think that's something that we very much did with that record.
And it even landed you 2 Degrassi episodes.
Yeah, well, that came. Angel and I were at the apartment one day, and we're watching Degrassi because we grew up watching it, or the first generation, and it's when they did the next generation. We're watching one day, and Kevin Smith was the guest, and Angel's like, "Hey, why don't you guys try to be on Degrassi?" And I was like, "All right." So we made a couple phone calls, and there we were in Toronto filming a Degrassi episode.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you got a part 1 and a part 2 of the show too. You got a 2-episode deal. So sick. Awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Now, going through this record cycle, unfortunately, or however you want to word it, it was the last tour with that lineup, that particular lineup. Fred leaves the band towards the end of this record cycle after
Yes.
Project Revolution.
Yeah, that was his last tour with us, yeah.
So now, were you guys working on new music when Fred was still in the band for the next release?
No, we hadn't yet. And then so after Fred left, that's when we started auditioning other guys.
Got it. Awesome. Anything else from that era that really sticks out? Because that was a huge time for you guys, and I feel like a huge victory for everyone who supports music like this and is in music like this.
Yeah, like yeah, that was just a wild time. We're the luckiest guys you'll ever meet.
Awesome. So I want to play a song off Louder Now right now. Which song do you want me to play for everyone?
Well, how about you play What's It Feel Like to Be a Ghost? First song on the record, and it's real proud of that one.
And now it's the New Again era.
Again, yeah.
And I was there at Taste of Chaos when you were giving your speech at like the middle of the set, how I was there for this, I was there for that.
Yeah.
I was there for the start of the New Again era. I was there at the Crazy Donkey for the Lance Stryker and the Rockaholic show on
nice.
Cinco de Mayo.
Nice. Man, Lance Stryker was an alter ego that we had come up with when we toured with Saves the Day, actually, like years before. And so it became this inside joke for years.
And it was a secret show, and then obviously over time people kind of figured out Taking Back Sundays coming out with their newest guitarist.
Yeah.
And you guys debuted 2 new songs at the time at that show, if I remember.
Yeah, because we rehearsed songs that had already been written, but we pretty much went right into starting to write. So.
Yeah, and then you went from the Crazy Donkey on Cinco de Mayo, and then like a couple days later playing another small venue of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Well, on my dad's birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
May 9th. We were really fortunate because My Chemical Romance was headlining, and then so they called us. They're like, "Hey, do you want to open some shows for us?" And we were like, "Absolutely, it'd be great to see you guys." And they're like, "One of the shows is at Madison Square Garden." We were like, "You're crazy, man!" And yeah, so they had us on that show, and it was very surreal to be standing on that stage.
Yeah, I remember taking the train in. That was probably one of the first times I took the train in by myself without my parents.
Oh,
and
nice.
Got to see the show. It was awesome.
Great show, yeah.
Incredible show. And this record was, in my opinion, you could obviously argue or correct me, but it was one of the poppier records for you guys.
No one's ever said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the first one.
thank you. Maybe
Is
I'm
it-
completely wrong.
Well, it could have been because like Capital M.E. and Money Where My Mouth Is are pretty are a bit more poppier rock songs for us. But yeah, that's the first time I've heard that.
Interesting. And then you guys ended up on Yo Gabba Gabba at some point on this record cycle too.
Yeah. We had my son Keaton, and he was a huge fan of the show, and we're also a fan of the Aquabats. You know, Christian from the Aquabats did Yo Gabba Gabba. He was the voice of Plex.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then so we got connected with those guys, got to be the super secret music friends, and that was a really fun time.
For sure. And around this era is when the iconic I Used to Be in Taking Back Sunday shirts came out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah. So that, and in every interview, that's all anyone was asking about. So we just figured, let's make a joke out of it. And so we did. We made shirts that just said, "I used to be in Taking Back Sunday."
And they were bright yellow and so hard to miss.
Yes. They were, we played Jimmy Kimmel again around that time. We were on tour with Anne Berlin, and so we had them on stage with us, and anyone that wasn't in the band was wearing that shirt, which I just thought was hilarious.
And they were doing backup vocals, right?
Yep.
Love that. Awesome. So I want to play a song off of New Again for everyone. So
Okay.
what song do you want me to play for that?
Cut Me Up, Jenny. That song's dope.
Now comes a very interesting time, one of the most epic reunions that I could remember. I remember it was around April Fool's time. You guys kind of posted a really cryptic message on your website.
Oh, yeah. We took this, like the first poster we had made for Victory, we were all posed in a certain way, so we just recreated that and put it on our website.
With our eyes blacked out, so you couldn't tell who we were, but I was wearing the same shirt in both pictures.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you guys having to post and like a little disclaimer, this announcement has nothing to do with April Fool's Day.
Yeah. I think the timing of that just worked itself out. It was unplanned.
Yeah, and I was there at the second show back. You guys, the first show was at Starland Ballroom.
Yeah.
And then the second show was at Irving Plaza.
Dang.
And it was hot as hell.
Sure
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Never forget that.
I think I had just graduated high school at the time, and I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously played a very Tell All Your Friends heavy set with that.
Yes, of course.
Now, what was it like getting on stage together for the first time? Because practice, you're behind a closed door, you can fuck up, you're not really too nervous. But now you have thousands of people staring at you.
Yeah, I was very nervous. I wanted to get all the songs that I hadn't helped the band write as perfect as I could with the limited time I had to learn them, and did a decent enough job. But yeah, that was like the first show I was ever super nervous for.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So now with this, we mentioned you could have waited, or you should have waited. Yeah.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah, you should have waited. We mentioned that earlier, talking about the Tell All Your Friends era. Now you guys played this and Best Places to Be a Mom at the first show.
Yep.
The first show's back.
Yeah, the Best Places to Be a Mom was the first one we wrote together once we got back together.
And then what made you guys?
Turns out that Norway is the best place to be a mom.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah, because of the maternity leave and all that. Yeah.
Paternity leave too, I think they have. I think, both parents can be home a significant amount of time. It's a good thing.
Good to know. So now, what made you guys want to rework that old demo, as opposed to maybe some other old songs you had?
Well, that was something that, like, when we're going back through, like, or when we're writing at one point, we're like, oh, let's go back through and see if there's anything to be salvaged from that. And that was something that just really stuck out, which it ended up being a B-side off the self-titled. But
Yeah, we thought we had better stuff, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun exercise.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely super cool to hear that one live again. And then you guys also covered existentialism on prom night for the first tour back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for some time after then too.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that was cool seeing you sing on it and all that stuff. It was a very fun time as a fan to watch it all happen.
Yeah, that was fun for us too, because it was a way to bridge our two worlds together, you know.
And this album, in my opinion, also had some of the heaviest Taking Back Sunday songs we've heard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it opens out with El Paso.
Yeah. That one really just exercises how much you could scream, and
Yeah.
it's awesome to hear.
Well, I think we wanted to drive a point home too that it wasn't going to be Tell All Your Friends Part 2. Like we could have gone that route, and it would have been the thing that some people expected. But we're like, hey, we're more than this, and we're looking into the future, not in the past.
Definitely. And then around this time, you guys also play Bamboozled, where it was the first time that you guys played Tell All Your Friends its an entirety as regrouped,
Yes.
or ever maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
And then that starts off like the 10-year tour, all that stuff.
Yeah. In
And-
2012.
Yeah. The way you guys did that was so incredible. I just remember being in the crowd and you guys starting out with You Know How I Do, and then just going into it saying like, hey, we're going to play the whole record, and everyone freaking out.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And then too, the fact that John and Shaun were back, you know, we wanted to, much like what we're doing now, you know, like we wanted to celebrate that. And
Yeah.
Awesome. And then obviously you have songs like Faith on the album, which are incredible, like a side of Taking Back Sunday you hadn't heard before at that time. And obviously having John and Shaun back after 7 years goes by, everyone in the band's changed a lot. The writing must have been a different chemistry too,
well,
in a positive way.
Yes, it was very positive, and we were still feeling out how to write with one another on that record, and it's something that so it was a very fun time, really.
Awesome. I want to play a song off of the self-titled record for everyone right now. So what song do you want me to play for them?
You should play El Paso, because as far as we know, only 12 people like it.
I am so glad
All
I'm
of us in the band,
Yes.
Mark's brother Dave,
Yes.
my dad,
Our friend Terry.
our friend Terry, Jillian.
Yeah.
Jillian, do you like that song? You can say no. Oh, okay.
Thumbs up.
So Jillian and who else? And my brother Nathan.
I'm lucky 13 then.
All right.
Let's go.
There's 13 people that like this song.
Awesome. We are back on Rewind and Pause with Taking Back Sunday. You just heard El Paso, the heaviest song by Taking Back Sunday that a total of 13 people apparently like.
Yep,
We're
13.
gonna double that now.
We're going to double
yeah.
that after this special. Now,
Well, we'll at least hit 15.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So then we got Happiness Is coming out.
Yes.
Now, this album, in my opinion, once again, my opinion, because I don't want to speak for everyone else, this kind of sounds like a little bit more of a continuation of Tell All Your Friends than the self-titled did.
Every record we've done is a continuation of Tell All Your Friends.
I think we started to feel more
yes.
confident. I think the song Flicker Fade came together really, really quickly. Like Adam had these melodies that just came out, Mark had the music. And I think we started to find like our stride and feel like confident in working together again.
Yeah. And then Better Homes and Garden.
Sure.
That song is so good.
When we filmed a video, I got to burn down a house.
That's sick.
I remember we were
Pretty
writing
dope.
that song in a cabin in West Virginia. We decided to go to a place that was far enough away from everyone, but equidistant. And the same, Adam and John are in North Carolina, and Mark and I are on Long Island still. So we went to West Virginia, and it was horrible. But that song came out of that. I remember I tweeted about it when Better Homes and Gardens was coming together. I'm like, man, Adam's working on some crazy stuff. It's awesome. And that was the song. You look back at my Twitter timeline back to 2013 or something.
Yeah, so just go scroll through that.
Yeah, no big deal. There's only like 85,000 tweets.
I will definitely be looking that one up.
Yeah.
And I remember on this cycle, you guys played the Paramount on Long Island, and Adam crowd surfed over me and took a shot on the bar while singing on there.
Yeah.
I was like, this is punk as
Yeah. Yeah,
Long
yeah.
Island.
Yeah, like I just wanted to see if I could do it. Turns out I can.
Yeah, you did it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
And now, I'm not 100% the timing wise of this, but around this time or towards the end of the cycle, I believe John started releasing some solo music or more solo music
Yeah.
with like an Americana folky sound as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, like he was. Like everyone always has ideas kicking around.
Yeah.
So, and then we knew that kind of at the end of that we were going to take a little bit of a break, and that gave him an opportunity to go and record that with Sapone.
Awesome. Now, with Happiness Is, you have all these incredible songs on there. Stood a Chance, which is so good too, like just so high energy.
Thank you.
And this high energy album. Now, what did you guys think when you guys put that out and towards the end of the cycle when it came to, okay, what's next?
Well, there's what was the first song off of Tidal Wave that came together? Do you
I think it might
remember?
have been Tidal Wave.
Yeah, it was because during that time John had the like bare bones of Tidal Wave, and he was playing it on the acoustic guitar, and Mark was like, well, how about we speed it up? And so so that was one of the first songs. So it was kind of, I don't think it's so much that we were thinking, oh man, what are we gonna do next? I think it was more of just, here's what's happening now.
Yeah, I think we always have the attitude that we can always top ourselves. I think we get very confident in that, like, especially when we tour on a record, we're like, oh, okay, let's put those songs away, let's get on to the next thing. And I think we're always excited to get back into the studio instead of like fearful, well, where's the creativity gonna come from? Like, it's always in there. And I think it just gets dormant for a minute when we're on the road, but then it comes back out, and hopefully stronger than ever because of touring and playing those songs and the lessons we've learned on previous records.
And with Tidal Wave, you guys did a smaller club tour to start off that cycle, and I think you guys just love playing records in its entirety.
Yeah. Well, like, that's how we hoped people would experience the record. So we figured, well, like, let's show people that, or we'll put our money where our mouth is. And sorry, I quote my song title, but yeah, I mean, the first show was on the day the record came out at the Metro in Chicago, and we didn't know how it was going to go, because it's like, okay, we're going to play for like an hour songs no one has ever heard before, but the tour was great, and then so we could see in real time like people learning the songs, and becoming familiar with them.
And this album, in my opinion, was kind of when you guys ditched emo for a minute, in a way. Like, obviously it could be worded better, but that's kind of how I interpreted it.
Yeah, that's fair. We've never considered ourselves an emo band. That's what people called us.
Yeah.
So, and we've just always done the best that we could do.
And I think we started trusting ourselves more to, like with the song like Tidal Wave, sometimes we're like, well, that sounds too much like a punk rock song. That sounds too much like The Clash or like the Ramones. This time we were just like, let's go with it. Let's go with that feeling, because that's what our gut instinct is telling us. Let's not overthink it. Let's trust ourselves here. And I think it worked out really well. And it was what was most directly inspired by the stuff we were listening to right at the time, whether it was Tom Petty or bands like that.
Now, I mentioned John coming out with the more folky Americana-sounding records. Now, did that play an influence to Tidal Wave, you think?
Sure, because John's in Taking Back Sunday.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, he has the song Fences that was basically all him, and then we put our little touches on it and stuff, so you can hear part of that folky influence there for sure.
Awesome. Well, I want to play a song off of Happiness Is, and then a song off of Tidal Wave, and then we're going to come right back here. So what two songs do you want me to play?
Happiness Is, let's play...
Better Homes and Gardens, because we spoke about that.
Better Homes and Gardens. And then Tidal Wave, let's do Can't Look Back, because it's just a great song.
Now, you guys, we went through all the records, and now we're here celebrating the 20-year tour, and a lot has happened in your career.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many different things, and it all led to you guys being inducted into Long Island Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was a wild thing. That's where when we got to meet Billy Joel was there, which was incredible, because even me growing up in North Carolina, like my family, like my dad was a huge Billy Joel fan, so it was a pretty awesome thing.
And when we got to meet him, we got to meet his little daughter. I think she's about 3 years old, and he's like, "Hey, honey, these are real rock and roll guys." And I was like, "Finally, the validation I've been looking for my whole entire life." Billy, you gave it to me. I gave him a big hug and pat his daughter on the head. She was so cool, so sweet and so cute. It was an eventful night.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love full circle moments like that.
Yeah.
So now, also, you guys released a 20-year record, I believe, at the beginning of this year.
Yes, yes, we did. It's called 20, and on it, we just picked songs that we feel like people resonated the most with people over the years.
Best representation of the band.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we made a sweet playlist for everybody, and then on it there's 2 new songs. One is called A Song for Dan, another one is called All Ready to Go, and which were they were a joy work on it. It was the first time we were in the studios. It was only us there.
Yeah, Adam engineered
And-
the whole thing. He's setting up mics. He's clicking away on the computer. It's awesome.
And so and then so each idea, you know, like it was the first, like we all just, all of our thumbprints are very much in each one of those songs, and I'm really proud of that.
And now with these two new songs, Song for Dan and All Ready to Go.
Good. Yep.
Yeah. So they kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop
Why is that?
because I'm obviously listening through the discography of the
Yeah.
band. And then I listen to Tidal Wave. I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to go in this direction. And then I believe A Song for Dan is a piano-based one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. That was the first one that came out off of 20.
And all that piano stuff was Mark O'Connell, our drummer. So
Oh, hell yeah.
throw you for another loop.
Ooh.
He's plugging away on his phone on GarageBand, and he's become an expert with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And then
he's always on his phone, and you think like he's just on like Instagram all the time or
Or
Facebook.
Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
What the kids into.
But he has no apps on his phone. He just has GarageBand because the files are so big.
Yeah, like 80 gigs a song or something. He's got it all loaded up.
Yeah.
so sick. And then All Ready to Go was more of a rocky song.
Yeah.
And then I heard rumors through the internet and all that stuff. That's kind of the direction you guys are going in. And I'm like, which way are they going? Are they going in the slower, like more piano-based direction, the rockier direction, or maybe a mix of both?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. For us, like I said, like the thing going through each record too, like I'm really proud that we've done is we've stayed very true to the people that we are in that moment. And we're the bosses of us, so we'll do what we want.
Yeah, we've trusted our gut, and it's got us this far, so why change?
Yeah.
Exactly. 20 years of Taking Back Sunday. What an incredible
Crazy.
career you guys have had so far, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
You guys have inspired so many bands, so many radio show hosts that have been sitting on your bus for too long.
No, it's fine.
And you guys have just done so much for the community, both on Long Island and obviously all throughout rock music as well. And I just want to thank you guys for all that.
No, man,
Oh,
thanks
well,
for being there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks for
Thank
going
you
on the
guys.
ride with us, man.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for sitting down here with me on Rewind and Pause with Taking Back Sunday. Congratulations on 20 incredible years of the band. And I totally forgot about this till just now.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you for the advice you gave me the night before I started high school
Oh,
at
wow.
Webster Hall. It was you guys
Okay.
and 30 Seconds to Mars at an MTV special
Oh
show.
yeah, right for the VMAs that year, yeah.
And I was talking to you about like, what should I do in music? And you were like, just do what you want, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. It's been like 12, 13 years since then,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, here
thank you
are.
for that advice.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for sticking with us.
No problem. I'm stoked to see you guys play this show, and I'm very anxious to see what album I get.
All right,
Yep.
me too.
Yeah.
Just tell right now.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll be talking soon.
All
Sweet,
right.
man.